A very good evening to all the members, all the participants. A warm
Good evening,
welcome from Team Training and Education. Today we are conducting our 42nd webinar in Gyan Ganga series. Today we are topic of section of Motor Vehicle Act 1988 governing total loss cases. And our panelists are Mr. KB Manchanda and Mr. Naresh and Mr. Samir Joshi. Members, as I told you yesterday also, we are trying our level best, but if you find anything, please write us on training@isla.net. We are happy to improve ourselves. So we will waiting because still few members are joining. Members, please write us about this webinar session, how you feel about this session, where we need to improve, where we are right. We are trying to giving our level best. Our mission is to give training and education to all 9,000 members of ISLA so that they can compete and they can give a best services to the insurance industry. So I think we will start today with once again a warm welcome to all the panelists and all the members. Today we are conducting our 42nd webinar on section of Motor Vehicle Act 1988 governing total loss cases. Our panelists are Mr. KB Manchanda and Mr. Naresh.
Thank you.
Manchanda ji,
Thank
please
you.
take over.
Thank you, Sachin ji, and thank you all the panelists and all the attendees who are attending today. First of all, I have to say one thing, that all the views what I'm going to express today, those are solely mine and my panelist, Mr. N.K. Tagotra, and they may be something pinching and pricking kind of thing, but don't please worry about it, because in all these years you will realize that the surveyors have not been doing the thing, performing our duty in right perspective as per the law. In fact, we have been misused, rather abused by different quarters. So you can understand, I don't want to name anybody, but definitely certain things we have ignored until now, and that is why because of our small ignorances towards the law, you see most of the times we see our insurance companies, officials and our surveyors, they are sometimes in hot soup whenever the stolen vehicles which are using the registration certificates of the total loss vehicles. So that is why I'm saying I may be a little bit harsh. I may be stating something which may not suit so many people, which may not suit the insurance companies, which may not suit the other agencies also. But I have got my right to make you all aware about the things what I have derived out of Motor Vehicle Act and its sections, Motor Vehicle Act 1938, Motor Vehicle Act 1988, and all the subsequent reforms which have been done by the both houses of the parliament until now. So I take my privilege to discuss all these vital sections today. And secondly, I would be requesting you all beforehand, I will explain you later why I'm saying so. Whenever there is some major repairs to any vehicle, Don't do the reinspection uh, of that vehicle. Don't do it yourself. Let that be done by the concerned motor vehicle department officials. I will explain you in the coming text. Now let us venture to now here the first and foremost section 52 of Motor Vehicle Act, which has been substituted by the Act 27 of the 2000 with effect from 11th of August 2000. So this is concerning the alteration, and it states, subsection 1, no owner of a motor vehicle shall so alter the vehicle that the particulars contained in the certificate of registration are at variance with those originally specified by the manufacturer, provided that where the owner of a motor vehicle makes modification of the engine or any part thereof of a vehicle for facilitating its operation by different type of fuel or source of energy, including battery, compressed natural gas, solar power, liquid petroleum gas, or any other fuel or source of energy by fitment of a conversion kit, such modification shall be carried out, subject to such conditions as may be prescribed. So this is what previously our 1988 Act Section 52 uh, that was giving a portion of, say, a certain percentage of modification. They used to relax, and that way uh, uh, it was means given relaxation by the concerned RTO before registering the vehicle. They were giving it. So, but now after this 11th of August 2000, whenever it substitution was under Act 27 of 2000 was made. So there is no such provision of any relaxation for any sort of modification, not even to a smallest fraction of the vehicle. So any modification, be it anything, even your what you say alloy wheel, even they are if not provided by the manufacturer, again you can straightforwardly make the claim voidable. That becomes your description, the discretion to uh, do so. So you have to be very, very, very careful now onwards in inspecting all the things. Fine. And secondly, you have got to see all the internal inspection of the vehicle. Means if there is any kind of modification to engine, means sometimes for racing purpose they go for big ports of the exhaust or suction suction portion of the head and all. So you have got to see that if there is something, say there is modification in the silencer, you have got to see that modification in tire size or type or its width or whatever, or source of energy like battery, or even if there is a conversion kit of CNG or LPG, or it is solar power, then all you have got to see. A little bit time extra you have got to spend to see if there is any wrong done on the vehicle. So, because all these things are not allowed, because these may constitute to an accident. Like I say, when unauthorized uh, accessories are fitted to any of the vehicle, so they do cut the wiring harness of the vehicle. They compromise it, and you know these days there are certain wirings which are carrying very high amperage of the current. Sometimes it is 65 amperes of current is running through all these harnesses, and if they are cut, or if they are little bit um, mishandled. So a fire can generate, and that is the main cause of fires in most of the vehicles which are fitted with such sort of accessory, which is not supplied by the manufacturers, because chances of sharing of all the uh, wrong, what you say, uh, kind of connections are given, or maybe wrong insulation tape is used, because once you puncture any sheathing of the cable, you cannot help it with any sort of insulation. So, so you have got to see all these things. This is a very important. You have to say anything?
Like even if the chassis frame is to be changed, that is also to be notified to the registration authority. Only then you can do it.
That is okay. But if that has not been done and it is coming to the knowledge of a surveyor, so he has got to write about it, and let the company decide about the fate of the claim. And the claim becomes voidable. Company may or may not allow. And if it is compromised badly, like if say cases have
Extra
been
body has been
chassis has been enhanced, like we have seen in certain kind of trucks where they enhance the chassis just to carry sometimes payload of cars, or maybe uh, anything like that, motor vehicles, to carry motor vehicles from manufacturer to they do enhance the chassis. And sometimes you have to see to maintain the center of gravity, you have got to build the body of a truck within 1 centimeter from the upper ridge of the tire. It must be within, it must not be beyond that. If it is beyond that, center of gravity may be compromised and the vehicle may turtle, or may overturn on any sharp turn or whatever, or while overtaking, if they have to apply the brakes, and it may also uh, cause any sort of loss because of imbalance and all. So this is one of the main reason I have to say that we have to take good care of this thing. Uh, Now again, subsection 2, where a registering authority receives a notice under subsection 1, it shall, within 7 days of the receipt of communicate by post to honor of the vehicle, its approval to the proposed alteration or otherwise, provided further that central government may prescribe specifications, conditions for approval, retrofitment, and other related matters for such conversion kits, provided also that the central government may grant exemption of alteration of the vehicles in a manner other than specified above, for any specific purpose, notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 1. A state government may, by notification in official gazette, authorize, subject to such condition as may be specified in the notification, and permit any person owing not less than 10 transport vehicles to alter any vehicle owned by him so as to replace the engine thereof with engine of the same make and type, without approval of registering authority, where any alteration has been made in motor vehicle without the approval of the registering authority, or by reason of replacement of its engine without such approval under subsection 2. The owner of the vehicle shall, in 14 days of the making of the alteration, report the alteration to the registering authority within whose jurisdiction he resides, and shall forward the certificate of registration to that authority, together with the prescribed fees, in order that the particular of registration may be entered therein. So here any sort of alteration means if he's a fleet owner and he wants to change one engine, like you would have seen whenever any big construction is going on, like a dam or they have got a very big fleet of dumpers and all, and if one is damaged or is broke down, and the other also is broke down thereafter, what do? They interreplace all the parts. And I had gone to one of the dam site to inspect loss of tipper once, but when I asked, I want to see the tipper, I had to inspect 8 vehicles at least to take care of all those assemblies, because they have fitted it's 8 different assemblies like engine and gearbox and rear axle housing and even its other parts like cabin was also used in some other number of years. So this is what, if all these things are happening, interchanging of the things is there. If such thing is happening, it has to be brought to the knowledge of the concerned RTO wherever he is residing, so that all the effective changes are made in the RC, so that thereafter there is no problem in settling the case if that vehicle is involved in any of the accident. So this is why it is very much important. If any alteration you want to make to the vehicle you own or vehicle in your custody or fleet in your custody, then you have got to get the things rectified at at RTO office. I will now give you an example. There is one of a big transporter of our uh, state. What do we do in Ladakh? Time, he is converting his trucks into tankers. He has got arrangement for that. He gets it altered in policy as well as in registration, and he applies, and that is the season of 4 or 5 months, and he runs it as such. And thereafter, when that road is closed, thereafter he converts it back into what you call truck lorry, and uh, again he does it. So he is seeking permission, and once permission is granted to him, so he is eligible to get the compensation for all the losses what are occurring to his fleet. So this is the right way to make the alteration in your vehicle, and it is the RTO who has to decide whether that alteration has to be afforded or not. That registration is subject to their approval, because they have to see so many things, whether this vehicle is worthy of flying on roads or not, whether it is a a weapon of offense to the pedestrians, because the first right on the road is of pedestrians, not of the vehicles. So it is all just to take good care of all those things. So RTO has to decide whether that permission of alteration has to be given or not. Now we come to subsection 4 of section 52. A registering authority other than the original registering authority making any such entry shall communicate the details of entry to the original registering authority. So like he's getting it done, and the vehicle is originally registered at say Mumbai, and it is this endorsement or alteration is being affected in Jammu. So that communication has to be passed on to the original, the basic, the parent registering authority, that is Mumbai, and thereafter uh, uh, things will be uh, set right in their registers and computers and everything. So that will become uh, absolute approval kind of thing. Okay. Now subsection 5. You have got to say anything? Okay. Now Subsection 5. Subject to the provisions made under subsection 1, 2, 3, and 4, no person holding a vehicle under a hire purchase agreement shall make any alteration to the vehicle except with the written consent of the registered owner. So, in all these things, wherever alteration has to be effected, it has to be effected with the consent of the registered owner. And in my opinion, because they have missed one party also, that is the financial institution which has lent the money or which has ceded the loan to the client, written consent of both is required to alter any vehicle, because at any given moment of time, if that alteration is done and if that is not approved by the RTO, and then in the meantime the vehicle uh, is involved in any accident, and insurance company, means you and me, surveyors, we may go and find it, and we can simply say this is a breach of our terms and conditions and warranties, and we are not going to pay that loss, and therefore it will jeopardize the money of the financial institution. So that's why this consent of not only registered owner but also of the hire purchase agreement with which financial institution has been entered into there, because since they have lent money, he has borrowed money, so in broader aspect, both are the co-owners of the vehicle. No doubt, the registered owner may be the person who is in the possession of the vehicle, but in fact, money provided is provided by the bank to purchase the vehicle. So that way their financial interest is involved. So all these things they must be knowing about it, that these things are likely to happen to this vehicle, and if it suits them, it is only then that can be done and can be accorded approval by the concerned RTO. Fine. Then explanation. For the purpose of this section, alteration means a change in the structure of a vehicle which results in change of its basic feature. Like I have said, one of the client of ours in J&K, he's converting his vehicles into tankers, and then Leh Ladakh road is closed. Thereafter, he again converts it back into uh, truck lorry. So this is what is the changing the structure of a vehicle here. This means that, but whereas replacement of engine and replacement of everything for that purpose, that doesn't come in into this, but for any alteration, one has to seek the consent of financial institution also, so that everything whatever is going to happen to that vehicle is in the knowledge of those people also. So for this corresponding law, Section 52 correspond to Section 32 of the Motor Vehicle Act 1939. So this was a prevalent section in 1939, but unfortunately, we have not gone deep into this, and certainly we have paid so many losses, which in fact we didn't have to. Anyway, bygone is bygone, but we can start afresh, because if insurers are alive, only then our profession is alive. So we are part and parcel of each other. If we do take care of their interest, they will take care of our interest. And if they are nowhere, if they are closing their show, definitely we wouldn't have any other place to go. So let us be little bit more uh, what you say, investing, and a little bit more spending time in seeing whether we are paying the right claim which has not been fiddled with. So this is what I mean to say. Not that what Section 52 is saying, but if there is any alteration and it has not been done away with by the RTO, so that is a something which is not very much payable, but yes, we have to inquire deep into it. Only then. Now, Mr. Tagotra wants to say something.
No, I was saying that prior permission from the RTO or after the replacement of some items, that permission is to be taken from the RTO.
But I guess you have to take prior approval from the RTO first,
Mostly
and
prior
then
pro-
yes,
prior-
of course,
mostly prior-
because
prior
once you have done the alteration and that is a
If it is
cognizable
rejected-
offense, that is a cognizable offense, which because we cannot say ki, okay, we have got a what you say. Uh, interim bail in our hand and we want to kill somebody. No, we don't have to do like that. We have to get the approval first for that. Then they will give you time, like they do give you time to make all the papers of the vehicle and then produce all the papers in the vehicle before the RTO to grant you a permit, because permit is the only thing which is given at the last after inspecting the body and everything. So we have to seek approval in return. Thereafter, make the changes. They will give you a duration. Say within 10 days you do it. Within 15 days or within 1 month you do it. We will pass it. So this is, in my opinion, it goes like that. But as a surveyor, my contention is that we have to detect any sort of wrong done on the vehicle, so that you see if anybody is trying to put oversized tires, it not only will decrease its efficiency, but definitely your brakes are designed as per the actual tires which have been fitted with it. So your security is compromised, and if you are using or puncturing or and making any alteration in the electrical harnesses or electrical system, definitely that is the system which is activating your ABS system, then your what you say airbag system, then your steering system. So in Maruti cars, your steering is also electronically driven. So you have to make sure that whatever is recommended by the manufacturer, you have to strictly go through all those things in same perspective to get the absolute kind of uh, satisfied performance of your vehicle, so that you may drive that out of your vehicle. If you are doing unauthorized kind of alterations, this is definitely not a good practice, and it should be. We must tell all our nears and dears that don't do. So it is a movement. We have to teach our clients also. We have to teach workshop people also, because we have to teach even accessory dealers also. So we have to, wherever you go, it is only a matter of a minute. Just tell them, if you are doing alteration, it is not good. Get it rectified in the RC from the concerned RTO. Otherwise, your client is not going to get any money if he met with an accident kind of thing. So this is how we can educate people, we can save on our money, and we can save the client from the future exigencies, which he may not get anything if he is doing any unauthorized kind of alteration, like motorway. Now here comes section 53. It is suspension of the registration. So friends, this is a very important kind of section which has altogether been ignored. And this is ignorance has paid, a very heavy price has been paid by some of the company officials and some of the surveyors also, when because of non exercising or recommending the claim under this, they have settled on NOS. Because now, why I'm saying my this lecture is going to be a very controversial kind of thing, because let us go back to our policies, motor policies. our policies in one of the uh, uh, open house discussions at Petra. I asked one renowned faculty about this. He simply ignored my this question because our motor vehicle policy, it has only three known modes of settlement. Number one, it is repair basis. On repair basis, you can go for it. On total loss or constructive total loss basis, if GR8 of the policy, that is 75% gross loss is going beyond 75%. If it is going beyond that only, then you can declare, and or one is actual total loss, like a burnt vehicle or a vehicle which has gone deep into the gorge and it is irrecoverable or irretrievable. So those are the perfect total loss, and others are constructive total loss. Whenever it is a constructive total loss, then you have got to see that GR8 is complied with. Okay. Now, second is total loss, and third is cash loss basis. These are the only three uh, modes of settlement in the policy. But in providing convenience or in collusion with companies, we have come up with this that net of salvage loss basis kind of thing, and we are selling the vehicle along with its registration certification, and thereafter that registration certificate has most of the times been, if you are getting overpriced for a vehicle which is totaled or near totaled, and if you are getting a better price and which is going when you total what you are going to spend on it, if that is going beyond the actual price of the vehicle, you must feel that it is something fishy is going on. Situation is alarming, but we never did so. This is why I am saying net of salvage. If I don't say it is okay, companies don't have any garage or any dumping place where they can have their what you say, salvage dumped. They don't have any sort of yards like that as in foreign places it is. But definitely to save on that, they do like this. Now, my contention is if you have to do that also, it is okay. But now read section 53, which is not letting you do it, and you are doing it. Are you above law?
Even policy is not above law.
Even policy is not, because your insurance policy is covering a motor vehicle, and motor vehicle is supplemented by insurance act. So both are complementary to each other. The both acts have to, now your pollution act is also involved. There may be safety acts also. There are so many acts which are involved. बट ओके, साहब ने कह दिया तो ऐसे ही होगा. What is this? So anyway, now I read out section 53. It is suspension of the registration. Subsection 1. If any registering authority or other prescribed authority has reason to believe that any motor vehicle within its jurisdiction, subsection A, is in such a condition that its use in a public place would constitute a danger to the public, or that it fails to comply with the requirements of this act or of the rules made thereunder, or subsection B, has been or is being used for hire or reward without a valid permit for being used as such, the authority may, after giving the owner an opportunity of making any representation he may wish to make by sending to the owner a notice by registered post, acknowledgement due at his address, entered in the certificate of registration, for the reasons to be recorded in writing. Suspend the certificate of registration of the vehicle subsection I, in any case falling under clause A, until the defects are rectified to its satisfaction. Since we people are doing net of salvage, okay, we are selling the salvage along with registration certificate. Why not we say, okay, we should recommend to the company that suspend you issue the check to the client with suspended certification of registration, so that any buyer who is purchasing it, if he is satisfactorily repairing it, he can get it revoked and get it again re-registered in his name, and that suspension may be carried away by another order on this is how you have to contain. Otherwise क्या है, आप इधर से गाड़ी बेचिए, उधर से चोर लेके जाएंगे, चोरी करेंगे, उस पे लगा के आरसी, उसके बाद परेशान आप लोग होते रहेंगे। बीच में से आपने लिया क्या, आपको तो सॉल्वेंट डिस्पोजल के भी पैसे नहीं मिले। You didn't get the money for disposal of salvage. In fire losses, you are entitled to get 5% of the realized value as your fees, but you are not getting anything here. Or maybe otherwise, I don't know how. But anyway, this is what I wanted to say. I had an anguish because if any wrongdoing by ignorance, that is not a wrongdoing, because ignorance of law is no excuse. Law has to be abided by all means. And this law, if anybody can break or rectify, is not even Supreme Court. It is the both houses of the Parliament only. And do you think we surveyors or we insurers or Supreme Court is about all this? No, nothing. So please have a second thought on this. Perhaps nobody had ever tried to. No, Mr. Tagotra wants to say something.
No, the major point about this is that we all know that in major loss cases, the vehicle becomes unfit to ply on the road in its present condition. So its RC has to be suspended till it is repaired to the satisfaction of the RTO or the state transport authorities having appointed such person to give such a report that vehicle's defects have been removed.
That is government agency or
Government
that is a
agency.
private agency, or he is a surveyor?
And that is
he a surveyor?
No, he is not a surveyor.
Is he an insurance company official?
No.
Then,
that is what I am saying, that
yes.
In such major repairs also, we as a surveyor in our reinspection report do write that vehicle is fit to ply on the road. That we don't have any power for that.
That is what
we are not authorized for that. Actually, the vehicle has a, especially cars, they have a fitness of 15 years. So even in between, if it meets with an accident, the fitness should be suspended so that only a fit vehicle should ply on the road. If the repairs are of substandard nature,
you see,
they should.
Here I want to correct you. This is what I wanted to tell. When if vehicle is beyond 75%, it cannot. It has received damages. It has sustained damages to the tune of say 75% or 60% or 80%. So definitely that vehicle is unfit to ply on the road. Number one. Number two, you know what? My contention is, okay, you want to save on the money of the insurance company. Okay, that is the trust money. We have to safeguard it. It is okay, but not by breaking the law. This is what my contention is. So what I want to say, if we have to do net of salvage, which is definitely not a valid mode of settlement suggested in policy, that doesn't appear in any policy, that doesn't find its way in any act, not even IRDA, not in any kind of that. That is simply a arrangement made by the insurance companies because they don't have that facility of having garages and dumping yards where they can. Otherwise, you see, if a vehicle is totaled, then why we are getting much money? Why we are getting much money for salvage? There is something fishy. And in all these years, you see simply type theft of vehicle and you will find so many news coverages over it. And definitely this is not a good sign because we are professionals. We are rendering our only service of assessing a loss. But why should we are taking everything on our own head by becoming RTOs, what we are not actually? So we have to do NOS kind of settlement. We have to do it on suspended certificate of registration so that whosoever will purchase it, he has to rectify it, then he has to intimate it to the concerned RTO or DTO, whatever you call in your local area or transport authority, and he will issue again that yes, this suspension is now revoked and removed because the vehicle is satisfactorily being repaired. Okay, only then, and that will ensure that there is no tampering in VIN number or engine number, because you know what I mean to convey. So please do take care. Now I come to subsection second. In any case, falling under class B for a period not exceeded 4 months. So 4 months is a big period to make any sort of satisfactory repairs to any vehicle. So this class B on the earlier, yeah, has been or been used for hire or reward without a valid permit being used as such, authority may, after giving the owner an opportunity of making any representations he may wish to make, uh, by sending to the owner a notice by registered post acknowledgement due at his address entered in the certificate of registration for the reasons to be recorded in the right. So that for that they have to intimate it by the, but definitely when you see, one thing more I'm unable to understand until now. Vehicle belongs to insured, company has to settle it, and we are trying to sell it. With what capacity? What is our capacity of calling quotations? You are trying to sell a thing, bunty and bubbly kind of, which doesn't belong to you. Anyway, I come to subsection 2. An authority other than a registering authority. Yeah, an authority other than a registering authority shall, when making a suspension order under subsection 1, intimate in writing the facts of such suspension and the reasons thereof to the registering authority within whose jurisdiction the vehicle is at the time of suspension. Again, it is the same case as it. Okay.
Original authority is to be informed.
Yeah, that is what we have already explained. It is the same kind of thing. So section 3, we'll discuss it. Let me read the third one also. Where the registration of a motor vehicle has been suspended under subsection 1 of a continuous period of not less than 1 month, the registering authority within whose jurisdiction the vehicle was when the registration was suspended shall, if it is not the original registering authority, inform that authority of the suspension. Please explain, Mr. Tibbetts.
Actually, suppose the vehicle is at Jammu and is registered at Bombay. Now, the registration authority at Jammu can suspend the registration of the vehicle and if the period exceeds for more than 1 month, that is, it is not revoked within 1 month, then they inform the original registration authority. That is at Bombay.
Let's proceed further. Now, subsection 4, the owner of a motor vehicle shall, on the demand of a registering authority or the other prescribed authority, which has suspended the certificate of registration of the vehicle under this section, surrender the certificate of registration. Here comes the right why I was saying what I have said. Maybe it may have hurt some friends of mine, but definitely this was the condition which I was referring to. You see, it says, I will read it once more. The owner of a motor vehicle shall, on the demand of the registering authority or other prescribed authority which has suspended the certificate of registration of the vehicle under this section, surrender the certificate of registration. So, whenever you are selling a vehicle on net of salvage mode of assessment, go for suspension of the registration because he has to surrender the registration before the concerned or nearest RTO, and thereafter he will make the changes to the vehicle or repair the vehicle or restore the vehicle in its pre-processing kind of state, and he will again put the vehicle before registering authority and get a certification in this regard, and he will get his certificate with endorsement on it back. So where is the problem? You are safe. You won't be in hot soup. You won't be in trouble. So this is why I have suggested. आगे आप जो मर्जी करो जनाब, जैसे साहब कहेंगे करो, कोई ऐसी बात नहीं है. Now here I come to subsection 5. A certificate of registration surrendered under subsection 4 shall be returned to the owner when the order suspending registration has been rescinded and not before. So this is what I have told. And this was the section 53 correspond to section 33 of the Motor Vehicle Act 1939. No, tell me. I'm not telling a lie. I'm telling you what the actual law is governing such sort of cases. And if we people are in trouble because of the thieves, it is only because we are somewhere faltering, somewhere we are ignoring the basics of the law. We are trying to tilt them and we are trying to mold them as per our women fancy and as per our. So this is what my request is. Please don't do it. So bygone is bygone. You can. There is always
one can amend
yeah, anytime you can amend. So this is my contention that suspension of registration must be initiated and insisted upon by us all as surveyors whenever we are recommending any laws on net of salvage basis, because whenever such things are propped up and it is the surveyor who is under the scanner, because companies simply say that he is the technical person, so he has recommended, we have passed. This is what actually happened. So please give it a second thought. आप इसको सोचिए और उसके बाद देखिए क्या करना है. बाकी जो मेरे हिसाब से है वो यही है जो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. बाकी आप देखिए. ठीक है सर. Now, suspension of the registration, what are the objection reasons behind it? And these objection reasons are not which has been written by us. These are in the exposure draft. Whenever any changes are being incorporated, all these suggestions and reasons why a deletion or addition of any section is there, that is given. And that clause 53 empowers the registering authority to suspend the certificate of registration of a motor vehicle if the vehicle is used for hire or reward without a permit. It also empowers the registering authority to suspend the certificate of registration of a vehicle if vehicle is mechanically defective, or if it is used if its use on public road will endanger public safety until the defects are rectified and the vehicle is certified to be roadworthy. So, my dear friends, wherever any big major repairs are required, you have to take good care of it, that you don't write that it is roadworthy. Let party goes to concerned RTO to get that certification, But for that matter, whenever
Yes.
that meets with an accident, you have to immediately report or tell him to report it to the concerned RTO for suspension of the registration. Thereafter, he will get the things done. So this was my contention. So this is how we can avoid problems of futures. I feel whenever I talk with my friends, everybody's intention whenever such sort of headline is there in any newspaper or on any news clipping in the television, and everybody start, oh, yaar, kya hoga, pata nahi kya hoga. There is a very thin cord which is holding the sword on our head if we are not following this. Rest, you are the best judge. Now I come to section 54, cancellation of registration suspended under section 53. Now, where the suspension of registration of a vehicle under section 53 has continued without interruption for a period of not less than 6 months, the registering authority within whose jurisdiction the vehicle was when the registration was suspended may, if it is original registering authority, cancel the registration, and if it is not the original registering authority, shall forward the certificate of registration to that authority which may cancel the registration. Corresponding law, this is a new provision in the 1988 Act, Motor Vehicle Act 1988. Fine. So, Mr. Tagotra will explain what does it mean.
Actually, suppose your vehicle is suspended, registration is suspended. Now you are not repairing your vehicle, and you may not intend to repair it. If the period exceeds more than 6 months, the registration authority has the power to suspend, not suspend, that suspended registration can be terminated. That is cancellation of registration, not under the provision of section 55, but under the section 54 for cases belonging to under section 53. And the word here is very carefully written, that may cancel the registration. That is, in such a case, they may, if the person says that my vehicle is still under repair and may take 2-3 months, they may extend the period also.
If a reasonable reasoning is
reasoning may be
given, he can grant furthermore permission to go for the repairs and get things done and come back to them. Am I right? Fine. Now we come to very important section 55.
Everyone has heard about it, but
no, everybody has heard about it, but definitely may not have, or most of them may not have gone through it, what it says and all. Now it says it is about the cancellation of the registration. And very recently IRDA has also issued a certification, rather order circular, that no vehicle is to be sold with RC. So anyway, and New India has also issued that certificate, and the rest of the companies may also have issued. So cancellation of registration, subsection 1. If a motor vehicle has been destroyed or has been rendered permanently incapable of use, the owner shall, within 4 days or as soon as may be, report the facts to registering authority, within whose jurisdiction he has the residence or place of business where the vehicle is normally kept, as the case may be, and shall forward to the authority the certificate of registration of the vehicle. So whenever a vehicle is beyond repairs, uh, is totaled by virtue of the operation of the insured peril, maybe fire, maybe accident, or maybe storm, whatever the reasons are. If it is beyond repairs, if it is not possible to bring it back or restore it back to its pre-possessing state, the owner shall within 14 days or as soon as may report the facts to registering authorities that his vehicle has met with an accident and it is a total loss. And you know what? If it is a car, the token tax, road tax, which has been deposited with the concerned RTO, he can claim the rest of the period's road tax because of the virtue of this. Rest of the period on pro rata basis, he can claim his road tax back also. Anyway, but whenever it is a total loss or near total loss, or it is burned, say it is burned to ashes and nothing is there, he has to immediately within 14 days of happening, he has to inform the concerned RTO and has to surrender his uh, RC also. Now, subsection 2 says the registering authority shall, if it is the original registering authority, cancel the registration and the certificate of registration. Cancel the registration and the certificate of registration, or if it is not, shall forward the report and the certificate of registration to the original registering authority, and that authority shall cancel registration. Fine, again, same what we have gone through in section 52, 53, 54, and it is again the same. Means the nearest RTO should be reported, and he has to send all of the papers to registration certificate to the original registering authority, which has registered a vehicle, so that they may do the needful. Now, subsection 3, any registering authority may order examination of a motor vehicle within its jurisdiction by such authority, such as the state government may by order appoint. And if upon such examination and after giving the owner an opportunity to make any representation he may wish to make by sending to the owner a notice by registered post acknowledgement due at his address entered in the certificate of registration, it is satisfied that the vehicle is in such a condition that it is incapable of being used or its use in a public place would constitute a danger to the public and that is beyond reasonable repair, may cancel the registration. So this is for the perfect total loss cases. But for not net of salvage loss, the earlier what we have discussed. Uh, so this is the most important kind of information. Perhaps you may appreciate that I tried to bring you the facts because I don't understand why people are shirking in accepting the truth and accepting that we are really doing wrong, and why we are simply becoming adamant and very much what you say, stubborn in accepting the truth that yes, we had been doing wrong. Let us rectify it now. Now, subsection 4 of section 55, cancellation of registration. If a registering authority is satisfied that a motor vehicle has been permanently removed out of India, the registering authority shall cancel the registration. Like, previously, I don't know about the COVID times and India-China kind of problem where now Nepal is not a goody buddy of India and creating problem. But previously, our policy used to read that in the state, geographical area of India, and then it used to be endorsed to be applied for in Nepal. So, if a vehicle is say uh, permanently removed out of India by any means, maybe okay. authority can cancel the registration. He can get the vehicle wherever he is going, maybe Nepal or Sri Lanka, or even to UK or USA. Wherever he will go, he'll get his car re-registered. So registering authority can cancel whenever they don't find any vehicle. Now, subsection 5 of 55. If a registering authority is satisfied that the registration of a motor vehicle has been obtained on the basis of documents which were, or by representation of facts which was, false in any material particular, or the engine number or chassis number embossed thereon or different from such numbers entered in the certificate of registration. The registering authority shall, after giving the owner an opportunity to make such representation as he may wish to make, by sending to owner a notice by registered post, acknowledgement due at etc. as entered in the certificate of registration, and for the reasons to be recorded in writing, cancel the registration. So this is very important. Here, I'll read it out once more. If a registering authority is satisfied that the registration of a motor vehicle has been obtained on the basis of document, oh, means this is misinformation, suppression of material fact. That is a condition where we don't pay any claim in any policy. Likewise, this is the same condition which is applicable here. And if it is like very recently, and fortunately, I guess surveyor's license doesn't require that. That condition 55 cancellation of license doesn't apply on surveyors, I guess. So anyway, I think I'm going on different subject. You see, any misrepresentation or any false or material particulars which are found to be incorrect, like embossing of VIN number, chassis number, or engine number, are different. Now, here comes different. Different doesn't mean that there is any difference in digits or alphabets, because both numbers are alphanumeric. It also means the actual, the font also. Font also, because you know what, whenever a new number is embossed locally, it will never ever match with the, so that way. No, I request Mr. Tagotra to explain this.
Regarding 5,
Yeah, regarding 5.
Yeah. Suppose he has given wrong information regarding say in his registration number of the chassis is different than the one being made available for the authority. Now, they have every right to cancel the registration, but they will give you a chance that why this is the case. Now, there could be two cases that if he had purchased a new vehicle, say the number given by the seller was correct, but RTO may had entered it wrongly, or there was a error on part of the seller. In that case, the if the registration authority is satisfied, they will make the change in that. But in case they find that the complete chassis is different, it had been put from some other vehicle, they will cancel the registration.
No, even
Or if they
no,
find
yes,
that there was a
yeah,
tampering, there
tempering.
was a tampering in the
No, even you know, even if what you say, second-hand chassis is taken and then it is again wiped off with the actual number of that chassis and again re-embossed with new chassis number, because the chassis
no, as a
number
surveyor,
chassis number font won't tally, its spacing will differ, and you can very easily can pick up that this vehicle has a locally or second-hand chassis or any assembly which has got numbers. Now, please carry on.
As a surveyor, most of us dealing with the repairers might be knowing that there had been some tamperings wherein that complete chassis number had been cut and refixed in a other vehicle. You might have got the point that the
Say it clearly. Yeah. If you have to say the salvage you sell, yeah, the thieves will, give you money for the big money for that salvage, which is not worth for, and they will use the RC. And they will use its chassis number on the original on the stolen vehicle, yeah, and they will go scot free. This is what if you want to say something, say clearly. Yeah. Was it the thing you wanted to convey?
Yeah, this is
okay. Now I come to subsection 6. A registering authority cancelling the registration of a motor vehicle under section 54 or under this section shall communicate such facts in writing to the owner of the vehicle, and the owner of the vehicle shall forthwith surrender to that authority the certificate of registration of vehicle. A registering authority cancelling the registration of a motor vehicle under the section 54 or under this section shall communicate such facts in writing to the owner of the vehicle. The owner of the vehicle shall forthwith surrender to that authority the certificate of registration. It is simple, and no, subsection 7. A registering authority making an order of cancellation under section 50 or 54 or under this section shall, if it is original registering authority, cancel the certificate of registration and the entry relating to the vehicle in its record. And if it is not original registering authority, forward the certificate. Again, same section it is coming. Now the expression original registering authority in this section and in section 41, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, and 54 means a registering authority in whose records the registration of the vehicle is recorded. Okay, means original registering authority shall be treated where it has been recorded and where it's all documentations like invoice and uh, uh, pollution certification or manufacturer's certification or dealers all records and bills are placed where from it has been registered. Like in Mumbai, we have cited an example. So all these corresponding sections, which where we are saying that original registering authority, it means where it has where the vehicle has initially been registered, and the second. Uh, Registering authority which comes into this picture is the nearest registration authority where your works are going on or where you are transferred or where your fleet is running from, and it is say one truck is totaled and it is lying at say Punjab, in say somewhere in Punjab, and you have to contact the concerned registering, and they will collect all the papers and they will act like service claims, like policies issued by say any office anywhere in India, and the rest of the offices are in league with them, and they have to provide service on behalf of the company, and that way they are working under the transport department, and it is definitely they have to provide all the services under a protocol to rest of the, and you see this was the only reason, that is why Parivahan and Sarthi services have been started by the Ministry of Surface Transport as well as Ministry of Transport. Fine. So now I come to section 9. In this section, certificate of registration includes a certificate of registration renewed under the provisions of this act. So, like say, let us take example example of a car. It has been given validity of certification for 15 years, and still it is working after 15 years. A person can go get the life enhanced by paying additional, and after getting the fitness certificate is renewed for another 1 year, 5 years, 6 months in case of public transport vehicles or trucks. If they are beyond 15 years in J&K state, I'm talking about. They only give such permission for 6 months, but for cars, they give permission for 3 years to 5 years. Now they have reduced to 3 years. Previously, it was 5 years. After charging corresponding fees and after inspecting the vehicle physically and seeing its roadworthiness, after their inspector goes and takes a test drive of the vehicle, only then it is being done. So cancellation of registration, what were the objects in the, what was the spirit behind this class, section 55? Because class 55 contains provisions for the cancellation of the certificate of registration by the registering authorities where the vehicle has been destroyed or has been rendered permanently incapable of use or has been lost and not recovered or is otherwise not traceable. So you see, now what is the reason? Now I'll use the cursor of the authority where the vehicle has been destroyed, okay, destroyed by fire totally, or has been rendered permanently incapable, means it is mechanically so much damaged that to repair it, the repairs and replacement costs are likely to go beyond the actual value of the vehicle. So repairs are possible, but they are not economically feasible to, or it is not economically prudence of a person owning that vehicle to invest so much big on a thing which will not fetch him the money what he is spending on it, even after its repairs. Like if you have got a Fiat car and if it is 10 years or 15 years old and it is burned, uh, and if you have to restore it, you require at least 4 lakh rupees, and when you have to sell it, you will fetch only its salvage value, that is 15,000 rupees or maybe 18,000, not even 20,000. So you have to take the decision. No, that is rendered permanently incapable of use or has been lost, means has been stolen and not recovered, like it has fallen into a deep gorge and it is not retrievable because of the very steep and high degree gradient where it is not possible to treat with such load and all the uh, recovery cranes that they don't have that long ropes to retrieve the vehicle, so you have to abandon it. What uh, is this condition? It covers this also, or its use will constitute a danger to the public safety. Now, here I would request you all to have a, because in the start of the session I have said these are all my personal views. Don't feel offended. I am simply telling you this is the law, and ignorance of law is no excuse. Now, I tell you, most of us, we are allowing repairs to front axle in trucks or buses, repairs to chassis, whereas manufacturer does not ever recommend that. We are no doubt saving a little money, but whenever these things are repaired, their tensile strength is compromised because repairs are being done with heating it and bending it and tinkering it and hammering it. So the structure of the steel, the molecular structure of the steel is compromised, and definitely it will not withstand the actual weight what for it was intended to have been designed. So design failure is likely to happen because for saving a little bit of You see, in J&K, in Himachal, all the old vehicles, if you study, whose uh, front axles or chassis have been repaired, either they are treating uh,
Front is being in one
diagonally kind of thing. Means you can find it out that it is rhombus kind of thing. Means
vehicle is moving forward,
yeah,
but it is
and you will find that it is swaying in one direction. So, or maybe in potholes because of heating and all the compromised metallurgical properties of the steel or whatever, they have been compromised and uh, they may give away, and the vehicle may go out of control of the driver, and with its payload or with its all the passengers on board, it may go deep into gorge or may run over the pedestrians or a big third party liability we are trying to create by saving a small amount of money anyway. So again, it it will constitute a danger to public safety. The cancellation of registration is inevitable. It cannot be avoided. They have to cancel it. So it also provides that the registering authorities may cancel the certificate of registration if the registering authority is satisfied that the engine number and chassis number noted in the certificate of registration differ from that found in the vehicle, or that the registration has been obtained by misrepresentation or fraud. So it covers all of the thing, and this is the spirit behind inserting these clauses. And now, please, for God's sake, use your jurisprudence to settle the things, because a surveyor is a very uh, unknown child of God. Nobody is there to help it, and right now you see this profession is really in very dire strait. And in fact, if we cannot save our profession, at least we can save our own selves, because nobody else is going to come to save us from such kind of things. So, no, uh, I come to section 136 of the Motor Vehicle Act. It is inspection of the vehicles involved in accident, where when any accident occurs in which a motor vehicle is involved, any person authorized in this behalf by state government may, on production, if so required of his authority, inspect the vehicle, and for that purpose may enter at any reasonable time any premises where the vehicle may be, and may remove the vehicle for examination. So this is, again, it is a policing kind of thing. Means if you uh, see, if somebody has parked the car inside his garage, that doesn't mean that nobody can see. Even they don't require in search warrant. They can go and they have to. Otherwise, if you are going to stop them, it is simply stopping a government servant from performing his duty, kind of. That act is coming into force. So be careful. So provided that the place to which the vehicle is so removed shall be intimated to the owner, they can confiscate it. They can take it along with them, and they will inform. Yes, your vehicle is here, and vehicle shall be returned. I tell you, in our state, uh, you know, whenever we are finding any person who is carrying uh, wood, wood cleft, it is a cognizable offense. And if it is proved that it is illegal, again, those vehicles are confiscated and their RCs are cancelled, and you can find at least thousands of such trucks. But unfortunately, the information is not passed on to the respective RTOs, and thereby giving client a chance to represent it in other state that it is a theft kind of thing. So this is Another arena you have to look into. Provided that the place to which the vehicle is so removed shall be intimated to the owner of the vehicle, and the vehicle shall be returned after completion of the formalities to the owner, driver, or the person in charge of the vehicle within 24 hours. Now, he has to prove everything is all right. If there is any deviation in it, say if vehicle has met with an accident, or say if somebody changes the half engine assembly of the engine of his car, so engine number is always on the block, engine block. That will change. He has to rectify, get it rectified, and he has to produce the. Or even the RTO people can come to the workshop and they can see and they can tally whole of the thing, and then they can incorporate it the uh, RC by way of endorsement. And for that purpose, you have to complete the formalities, like you have to surrender the bill of purchase. Then, if it has come through by air, you have to airway bill you have to give, or whatever the transport mode, and other supporting document like your payment particulars, what you have paid, how you have paid, by check or by through RDGS or whatever. So you have to give them all of the things, and they can release your vehicle within 24 hours. If something wrong is not there, if something wrong, like if any contraband materials are being used by the are being carried in the truck, or if that is confiscated, it means it is total. You want to say anything, Mr. Developer?
No, continue.
So, what are the objects and reasons prescribe that a motor vehicle involved in accident should be produced for inspection before person authorized by state government, and for this purpose it empowers the officers to enter into any premises and remove the vehicle for inspection. So, government doesn't want that anybody should fiddle with the bona fides of a vehicle. But in NOS, we are giving that jump. That is why we are more exposed to the risk. Anyway, let us go to. Now, here are some case examples with photographs, and definitely I thank Naresh Tagotra for providing all this documentation for other photographs from his website isalvageauction.com, and these are the photographs we have. We are here trying to tell you which section is revoked, or which section is involved whenever, which sort of loss we are about to. You see, it is a totally burnt case. No parts are usable. It is irreparable. Settlement is on total loss. RC status, it has to be cancelled. Motor vehicle section involved is 55. VIN number, it has to be removed and submit to the concerned RTO or transport authority, whatever it is. Engine number and chassis number. After cancellation of RC, destroy and keep the record. When we have got to destroy it and keep the record in shape of photographs and whatever these are. Whenever you have to sell rest of the wreck, what you have to say, you have to give buyer copy of the cancelled RC. This is what our law says. मेरा अपना कुछ नहीं है जी भाई साहब. Take take from buyer. What you have to take from buyer? It is ID of the buyer and the affidavit with regard to the purchase, so that at any given time of misuse, that can be produced before the concerned authority, maybe police or maybe also. Then the registration taxations. Owners can claim refund if applicable. So if it is applicable, it will be paid as a whole on pro rata basis, as if you uh, cancel your policy of any vehicle or anything, you are refunded pro rata or premium on pro rata basis after deducting short term kind of. So they may also have that sort of arrangement. Now, it is the second case study. It is also a major loss. You see, again, it is total loss because body shell is gone, and definitely suspension is gone, and none of the panel is there. And in America, this pillar A, if it is damaged, the vehicle is a total loss, because safety of the passenger, because those are having left-handed vehicles, and the security of passenger is compromised. They declare, and here we even go for cutting and welding kind of thing. Anyway, what is the RC status? It has to be cancelled. Motor vehicle under section 55, and VIN number, we have to remove the VIN plate and submit it to the RTO. Then engine and chassis number. Excuse me.
May I continue? Hmm.
Now, engine number and chassis number. After cancellation of RC, destroy it and keep the record as we have to. Number plate, destroy it, submit with RTO. You have to give a copy of cancelled RC to the intended rectifier. From buyer, you have to take its identity and affidavit with regard to the purchase, and registration taxes can be refunded to you as per the law. Now here, it is again a major damage, say a new shell is required and repairable with new shell and some used parts, like its engine will be the same, and some doors may be reused, kind of thing. Settlement, constructive tolerance, RC status, suspended RC. This is what section 53 and 54, this is what I wanted to convey to you. You issue your report on this, let him get it repaired, or let anybody to whom he is selling, let him repair it, let him produce before the RTO, and let him get the RC again restored back to him after getting its inspection. Then VIN number, get the VIN number changed from RTO for a new VIN number. If cases number, VIN number is on the shell bin or creator, they do have VIN number. The number plate as per RTO decision. If it is going to be repaired and suspended RT, and RTO will be taking the decision, like you deposit along with RC to us, and whenever we will inspect, we will give it back to you to put it back on the front and rear end of your vehicle. And thereafter, then you have to give back the suspended ID, RC, and you have to take ID of the buyer and affidavit and registration taxes, because it will be restored, RC will be restored, so there is no matter of giving you back your registration taxes appears. Now here, body shall say damaged and allowed in assessment, but repairable at local workshops. Now here comes what I was saying. Anyway, settlement, constructive toll loss, RC status, again of suspended RC. Sections 53 and 54 are involved. VIN plate, no action. Satisfactory repair to be confirmed by the RTO. So that is what I'm saying. In major losses, try to avoid it. Let RTO give him the certification and let him see whether it complies with all the laws and not, and whether it is whether not it is damaging or vulnerable to another accident, and thereby endangering the lives of the people, because human life is priceless, we must understand. So no action, then Indian number, chassis number, no action, number plate, no action, give buyer the suspended RCs and take him from him ID and taxes. There is nothing like that. Then now I thanks to whole TP team, Mr. Mulge, for his all the endeavors, and thank to all of the attendees of the webinar. And I hope the session was informative and useful. And if there are any queries, you can send your feedback at education at isla.net, and photo courtesy is from isalvageauction.com. My heartily thanks to them because they have given us very much correct kind of damages as we required to enumerate and display in our this session. And my sincere thanks to Mr. Sachinji and Mr. Samir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manchanda ji.
Thank you.
Thank you for this
Yeah.
informative session.
Thank you.
We'll take some few questions. So,
Okay. Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
the time is very less, but we'll take only one or two questions.
Okay.
There is a question from Mr. Sarabjit.
GT. Hello.
Hello.
Sir, you are not. Yeah, no audible.
Yeah, there is a question from Mr. Sarabjit.
Yeah. Sir, no audio is there, sir.
One second.
Yeah.
Whether registration of vehicle eligible for net of salvage, constructive total loss case, lying in police possession due to death case arising out of accident
Hello.
or any legal hazard
Hello.
can be cancelled by registering authority?
In fact, that cannot be cancelled, but on suspended registration you can go for. This is what actually has been ignored because you see we people are governed by so many whims and fancies of ourselves, and which have been propagated by our elders, our seniors, I would cite an example that where from the storm certificate, meteorological certification has to be taken. Boss, I tell you, aviation is possible only because of so many observatories. And yes, in every state, there are meteorological department offices where from you can get those. But there are so many observatories. I am repeating it. Otherwise, aviation is not at all possible. And again, your air defense system will be weakened to the extent that anybody can come and do anything. Now I come to my this um, webinar on SEC Motor Vehicle Act. So, Mr. Sarabjit Singh ji, this is what I told you. I know you may have some different opinion, but I have told you these are the Motor Vehicle Act, which is saying what we have been doing wrong. I have simply tried to denude it before you. Now it is your sweet will whether you accept it or reject it. Anyway, if anybody has died, that vehicle is issued on Spurdari or Spurdnama, and in that case, the RC is not cancelled, but it can be suspended. If it is not cancelled, but it can be suspended. So I hope I replied to your question, sir.
Yeah, see, members, here I wanted to interfere the things. See, whatever we are conducting this webinar, it is a purely view of or interpretation of the faculty, right? Nowhere, disclaimer from the ISLA that nowhere ISLA is saying that this thing. Okay, there could be a difference of opinion, and for the difference of opinion, we may come up with this discussion session on this. Whatever the difference of opinion is there, we can have the discussion, open discussion, and we can take a stand. The idea behind is that across the country, being a Islam member, all the members, all the surveyors should be interpret the policy in a same manner, It should not happen that one member is interpreting another in another way and another person is interpreting in a different way.
Sorry to interrupt you, Sachinji. Here, it is not
Yeah.
matter of interpretation.
No,
First
no,
of
no.
all,
This is not related to your question. This is not.
No, sir. I
Yeah.
understand. I have given disclaimer. All the views are of mine only. Please don't get hurt in the beginning. But what I am saying, it is not interpretation of the policy or the law. But first of all, we must know which law is applicable to which condition. This is what I am trying to tell, sir. Anyway, sir.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is another question: when chassis frame of the vehicle is damaged due to accident
Yeah.
and replaced with second-hand chassis frame, chassis number
Yeah.
of damaged chassis should be punched on it or not? Or
No.
what is the
You have
procedure? What is the procedure?
procedure has been defined in section 52 rather. That is alteration. Same procedure they have to apply.
Okay. Thank you, Manchanda ji.
Yeah.
There is
You
a
are welcome, sir.
question, Mr. Rajnish Desai. I have unmuted you. You can ask the question.
Yeah. Rajnichi, good evening. Hello.
Okay. There is a question from Mr. Ashok Girmaji.
Hello.
Mr. Girmaji.
हाँ जी अशोक जी नमस्कार बड़े भाई कैसे हो
Mr. Girmaji, you are there? I think Mr. Girmaji is not here.
He is not
Okay,
audible.
Mr. Darshan Shetty. I have unmuted you. You have to unmute yourself once again and then you have to talk.
Hello.
He is not there, perhaps.
Yes, Mr. Anil Kumar. Mr. Senthil Maran.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mr.
Sir,
Senthil
this is
Maran.
Senthil Maran from Pondicherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir, I need difference between RC surrender and RC cancellation. How to get the life tax refund
How to?
during total loss?
Hello. How to?
How to get the life tax refund for the remaining period?
You have to approach
I guess first of all, this is a combination of questions. The last one does not pertain to a surveyor, so I won't reply that. Now
Please.
you have asked what is difference between surrendered RC and
And
cancelled
cancellation. Yes.
Fine, it is the same thing as if a person is sentenced life imprisonment and other is hanged. This is the same contention. I hope I made it clear.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Then how to get the life tax refund, sir?
What?
Whether a person purchased a car by January, the car comes for a claim on February, within 1 month. It is a fortunate, it is having 3 lakh.
No. Here I tell you, date of sale defines its purchase date. You will you simply draw out your RC. You will get a purchase date and registration date. Now it is going to be.
It is a below 1 year vehicle, sir.
So what?
It comes under total loss.
Okay.
Whether the insured is capable to get the life tax refund for the remaining period?
Taxes. You are talking about taxes.
Tax, life tax.
Yes, okay. You are talking about taxes. When you have
Yes.
insured a car with your all taxes on road price, you have insured it and you have deducted only 5% against
Yes, sir.
depreciation for the first year. So you confine yourself, and thereafter, whether he will get it or not, how come we are bothered? We are bothered about our own job. Our problem is we are taking extra responsibilities on our shoulder, and we for not being paid that much. So leave that part, whether he gets or not, how come we are bothered, sir? We are bothered कि we have to issue our report on total loss or net of salvage or repair basis, and we should get our fees back, which we don't get quite often.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Manchanda ji. Thank you, all the
Okay, sir.
participants. I think we have covered the most of the question.
Yes,
Remaining
sir.
question, due to shortage of time, we will not able to take you.
No, I
Members are
can understand.
requested. Members are requested
Uh,
to write us on training@isla.net, whatever your question.
uh,
So
Yes,
we
the
can
email ID mentioned
answer.
is education@isla.net is wrong. It is a training@isla.net.
Right, training@isla.net.
okay. Anyway,
From
one
where you
one thing
get this
I want.
invitation?
Yeah, sir, I want to say here a few words. Friends, all the views in this webinar are mine only. This is my interpretation and this is my inferences which I have after going through the policies, Motor Vehicle Act and Insurance Act. I have disclosed what I have found. Now it is you who have to decide to accept it or reject it. But anyway, thank you all for your patience on listening to me, and thank you very much, Sachinji. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Manchanda ji. Thank you, Naresh ji. Thank you,
Thank
Sabaji
you.
sir. Thank you, all the participants.
Thanks to all.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Okay, ji.